پر محمد والے محمد صلوات
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم عن جابر بن عبداللہ الانصاری انہ قال عن فاطمة الزہراء علیہ السلام بنت رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وآلہ قال سمعت فاطمة انها قالت دخل علی ابی رسول اللہ فی بعض الايام فقال السلام علیک یا فاطمة فقلت علیک السلام قال انی اجد فی بدنی ضعفا فقلت له اعوذک باللہ یا بتاه من الضعف فقال یا فاطمة ائتینی بالکساء الیمانی فغطینی به فأتیته بالکساء الیمانی فغطیته به وصرت انظر الیہ واذا وجهه یتلألأ کأنه البدر فی لیلۃ تمامہ وکمالہ صلوات
اللہم صلی علی محمد والے
فمكانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدی رسول اللہ فقلت نعم ان جدک تحت الکساء فاقبل الحسن نحو الکساء وقال السلام علیک یا جداه یا رسول اللہ اتذن لی ان ادخل معك تحت الکساء فقال وعلیک السلام یا ولدی ویا صاحب حوضی قد اذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء صلوات
اللہم صلی علی محمد والے محمد
فمكانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسين قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال لي يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جدي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله فقلت نعم إن جدك وأخاك تحت الكساء فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله أتذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي قد أذنت لك فدخل معهما تحت الكساء صلوات
اللہم صلی علی محمد والے محمد
فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن أمي رسول الله فقلت نعم ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله أتذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء قال له وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسي وخليفتي وصاحب اللواء قد أذنت لك فدخل علي تحت الكساء صلوات
اللہم صلی علی محمد والے محمد
ثم آتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله أتذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي قد أذنت لك فدخلت تحت الكساء صلوات
اللہم صلی علی محمد والے محمد
فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ بي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومأ بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وعامتي لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم إنهم مني وأنا منهم فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وسلم.
فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مطوية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومقدن الرسالة هم فاطمة وأبوها وبقلها وبنوها.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
فقال جبرائيل يا ربي أتذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض لأكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت سماء مبنية ولا أرضا مطوية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وسلم.
فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وسلم.
فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبين إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي نزم والله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبين وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه ولا مهموم إلا وكشف الله همه ولا طالب حاجة إلا وكذا الله حاجته. فقال علي نزم والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم
صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعجل فرجهم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم إني أسألك بحق محمد وأنت المحمود، وبحق علي وأنت الأعلى، وبحق فاطمة وأنت فاطر السماوات والأرض، وبحق الحسن وأنت المحسن، وبحق الحسين وأنت قديم الإحسان، وبحق الأئمة التسعة الطاهرين من ذرية الحسين عليهم السلام.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعجل فرجهم. الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق. الصلاة والسلام على رسول الثقلين محبوب رب المشرقين والمغربين جد الحسن والحسين أبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من يومنا هذا إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد والفرقان الحميد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. من صلوات المحمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Our subject is Ziyarat Ashura in the light of the Quran, and all these days, I'm trying to bring it together and try to put forward that how Ziyarat Ashura is a part of the Quran, and it's a part of Islam. The tawalla and the tabarra which we were talking about, how obvious it becomes from it, from Ziyarat Ashura, how obvious it becomes. Otherwise, it's a very grey line to understand that who are correct and who are erroneous. But if you take this code, set by our imams, where they draw a line, and they become the criterion between the white and the black. And we saw how salam, why salam, from where is salam, for where does salam come. We saw what is the blood of Allah, why does Allah call the blood of Hussein as his own blood. Then we saw we matched up the Surah Al-Fatiha with the Quran, and we saw that how it opens up more if it is read with the Ziyarat Ashura. Its meaning becomes more obvious. that Alhamd is there, the praises are there, but what is the highest station of praise? And we come to know from Ziyarat Ashura that it is the station of praise, which we call as Maqam al Mahmud. And yesterday we did the importance of days. Some days are important, and some days are less important, and some days are so powerful that they overtake your life. That day of your life you can never forget, and the event and the happening and whatever you went through on that day, it is marked upon your life forever. This Ashura is same. It's a mark on the world. It's a mark on the world. It is unforgettable. And not only the world, but even the heavens. And that is why when we pray Ziyarat Ashura, we say that it is a great tragedy on everybody, on the people of the earth, the people of Islam, and also the people of the heavens, the dwellers of the heavens. Even they have witnessed it. And Friday and Saturday, that's what we were doing yesterday. That Friday being a day of collection of all the blessings, and after Friday it is just Allah's blessings are distributed all over. But there is a question over it. The question is that we see many prosperous people who are not into Allah, who are not into religion, and who don't even believe in Imam Hussain al-Islam. Probably they may not even know who is. But you see their prosperity and their wealth and their name and their influence on the world is so much. So if the blessings are from Allah on the day of Friday, then how are so many people who are, you know, they are against God, against humanity, doing all sort of wrong things? How do they have so much of wealth? The wealth from Sabbath. That's what it is. And that is that denial, the denial day, when they were not supposed to fish. They set the canals a day before, and they said, this is not a Saturday. So now naturally the fish got trapped. Poor fish. It knew that it is a day which is free for her and nobody is going to catch it. So they came to the banks. So they came in numbers. So naturally they were caught more in numbers than any other day. And then the people who wanted to have it on the day that they were forbidden, because whatever a man is forbidden, he wants more. So now naturally, because it was forbidden on that day, the market was also high. So the fish was also there, the market was also high. There were people also who wanted to have it on day. So naturally, it made up for all the other days. So whatever halal came, it came for the others who refrained from that. And whatever haram came, it came in abundance. It came in abundance, and everybody is going to be questioned about that, from where you got. Three things are going to be answered by everybody on the day of judgment. And that is, how did you spend your youth? How did you earn your living? And how did you spend your earnings? One salawat on Muhammadan wale Muhammad. So as I was saying that in the Quran it is mentioned that Allah doesn't do zulm on anybody. It is the people who do zulm on themselves. Okay, so now we are deprived of some very good things by doing the wrong things. And on the day of Ashura, a man announced that is Eid al-Fitr is forbidden for this nation. And from that day, there has been a dispute about moon till date. And when they went and asked Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, he said it was a day of blessing. The day of Eid was a day of blessing. It was lost to the people because those people who had come against Imam Hussein, they were no other, but they claimed themselves to be Muslims. And Eid is for the Muslims. And Eid is for the blessings. Allah said, deprive them. They will never come to know when the true Eid is. And Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam says, till the appearance of Imam Zamana, the Muslims are ever going to be confused about which is the Eid. And the one who is a Husseini, a rightful person, he is going to get the correct Eid. Otherwise, nobody is going to get. That is what it is from the blessings of Allah. What you choose and what you deprive yourself of. Now, today we are going to talk about the Barat. You know, Barat, there is a full surah of Barat. It is also called Surah Tawbah. So now, naturally, this tabarra is a word because we are non-Arabic speaking. We think that tabarra is something very bad, something to abuse and, do all those sort of, use wrong words and all that. It's nothing like that. There are two words that are used, which we used for the enemies of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. I'll do with you all from the Ziyarat book only. Those two words are, one is Barat and second is Lan. So Barat means disassociation, immunity. You should be immune to that person. Immunity builds up when you're strong. So naturally, your faith should be so strong that you should not allow the Satan to spoil your spirit or to sicken your spirit. So you have to build up your faith. That is what is Barat. So when Allah is, Allah has, sent the Quran, the Rasul, and He has, even the Satan is free. So now naturally He is going to, send you proper ways to know that what is right and what is wrong. Because sometimes we have seen it in our lives that the best people who sometimes look so holy and pious and preachers and all that, and in the end that people come to know that what their actual reality was. So that's what it is. You should know that who is actually holy and actually a leader and who is a false leader, who is a satanic leader, and he wants to take you away from Islam. So that's why Allah gave lot of time to everybody. 23 years of Rasul Khuda's preaching, and he was preaching in the most, the circumstances which were very dark. There was a lot of idol worship in that time. So Rasulullah in all his ways, by preaching them, by showing them miracles, by his whole personality, by the etiquettes that Islam taught, we have gone through all these things, right? We have seen how he parted the moon into two. We have seen that through his etiquettes, how when a woman used to put trash on him, so by his that his attitude, his etiquettes, and she changed herself. Then we have seen that how the girls were buried alive before Islam, and how he refrained people from doing that, and how he made their own sons so good that they started respecting them. So we have seen all these phases, we have heard all these phases. We are born into this community, we are born listening to this majalis, and we have been brought up this, and these are the 10 days of light into the dark days that follow. Though you may be dressed up as black, in black, but these are the light days of your life, the days of light when you get so much of guidance from everywhere. So Barat means disassociation, making yourself strong. And then, by making yourself strong, you actually know, okay, this is right and this is wrong. I can do this, I cannot do this. I can love this person, I cannot love this person. And then second comes the lan. So Barat, one full surah is there in the Quran. And lan means what? Ballanahullahu bikufrihim. This is said for the Bani Israel. So Allah saying, lan Allahu because of the bikufrihim. So there is a reason for lan. Lan means dispel from the blessing of Allah. So this association and this dispelling, which we call that these are very harsh things, in the Shia religion, these are very harsh, and one should not do this. So what about the judgments of the world? Aren't the murderers supposed to be punished? Aren't the rapists supposed to be put behind the bars and said, other thieves, aren't the thieves get a punishment so they do not harm the others? So that is the totality of Islam. Okay, the ones who do wrong have to be punished and they have to be condemned, and people have to know about it so that they save themselves. If somebody says, do not say lanat on the shaitan, if that person, if lan is not there, the blessing is for everybody. Everybody sitting over here, everybody around you is blessed. He has got blessings from yours. Don't we say peace, salam, salam. But this salam, it has a border. It stops where you know that there is a wrong person. There is a wrong person. Suppose there is a theater or a gathering or a Muharram or anything. We see these things happening every day. So salam on everybody. But the one who enters with a bomb or a gun, do you say salam on him also, so that he kill all those people around? So what do you say? You dispel him from the blessing of Allah. As you pray for good, so is this. As you pray for blessing, so is this. Some people are supposed to be blessed. Bless them if they help humanity, but dispel that blessing from them if you know that they are going to go against humanity, against the discipline of God, against Allah, against everything. They are going to rebel. So this is how you understand what lan is and what barat is. Now see, Allah has made the Suratul Barat. As I said, he preached for so many years, gave everybody the opportunities, they saw the miracles, they read the verses. In every way, Rasulullah showed them a very phase of good life, good society. But still, when they wouldn't listen, so Allah said, now barat from them. Barat means disassociation. And that disassociations came in the trades, in the agreements which they had, those tribes had made with one another. They were given a few months in which to complete up their contracts, and they had to become separated. So that is his disassociation. So now when this surah holds a lot of, see, if you are a one who prays the Quran, it holds a lot of importance for you. You know why? It is attention drawing. First and foremost, it is attention drawing. Why is it drawing your attention? Because out of 114 surahs, this is the only surah that doesn't begin with a Bismillah. That doesn't begin with a Bismillah. So any layman also, a man of little intellect also, he is going to wonder about it. He is going to wonder about it. Why does this surah starts without Bismillah? And it says that immunity of Allah and His Messenger, means Allah and His Messenger, they have become immune to some people. Okay, and then who has Allah become immune to? who is the one who we have taken tabarra from. Right from the demise of the Prophet, the real original religion had to face a lot of difficulties, where the true guide was not allowed to take his seat. So now, when one person's errs goes wrong, and another follows it, and then the third follows him, and the fourth follows him, and there are groups and groups. If you make one mistake, if perfection is gone, then there are going to be 10 mistakes they come to them. But what is perfect will take a perfect line. So that's why you see that so many divisions in us. So not only that quietly took away the place of our Imam, but when he came back to his place to rectify what was spoiled by the people, to show them the true face of Islam, he was, he had such a big hurdle in front of them. And these were the people who are called the Qasitin, the Nakisin, and the Khawarij. So, Karbala is not disconnected with all that is happening. It has started right when the Prophet had announced his messengership. And, as soon as Maula Ali said, there were some people, Nakasins are the ones who break their oath. He had to fight a war, and the leader was a lady. And, it was so trying for Maula Ali because, the bond which he shared with the Prophet and the love and the ahadith that come out that you are from me and I am from you. We have been created from the same light. And naturally, then said, oh, she's the wife. And he's come again the wife. So it is the people of understanding only who will understand. Okay, he is not fighting against any person. He is fighting against the ones who have broken their oaths. Okay, and naturally, you all know. So these were the people, and then as soon as that ended, then started another war. That was Siffin. They were called. They were the unjust. They were the unjust. Throughout they were unjust. They just collected money and looted money, and he had a hand in killing even the wife of the Prophet, even the so-called caliph. He had a hand in everything, but still people wanted to believe in him because he was giving Mawiya, I'm talking about, lot of bribes. Siffin was fought against Mawiya by Maula Ali, and now naturally, because there was so much of chaos, and it was a 2-month fight, the month of Ramzan, people got fed up that side and this side, and then those people started putting up the banners of the Quran. So these people said they are giving the wasta. They with Maula Ali, they came giving the wasta of the Quran. How can we find? Maula said it is not the Quran. They are fooling you. They are fooling you. But when the Imam is here, you have to be prepared that his word is the last word. And so now naturally people broke away from this also, from the Qasitin, and then they became the Khawarij, the third group. Now Khawarij is, the so-called holy, which we have all around the world. Okay, so-called holy. They prayed the namaz, they kept the rozas, they read the Quran, but they did not believe in imamat. And they said that what in Siffin Maula did, nauzubillah, I don't want to go into it. And this was another war with them. So now in a small period of 5 years, not even complete 5 years of the caliphate of Maula Ali, he has got 2 strong groups standing in front of him. Some show their loyalty to the Prophet by loving his wife. Some show loyalty to Mawiya because they were the influencers in Mecca, their forefathers. the evil people who did evil and who made other people also do evil. So when they wanted to do evil, they would believe them as their leaders, not Maula Ali, because Maula Ali wouldn't allow anybody to drink or gamble or be unjust to anybody, and they wanted to follow their way. So they believe in him. And some people holier than thou. They wanted to show that we are holier than thou. And Rasulullah says, the iman is going to go out of their hearts as an arrow leaves its bow. That is his exact words. They will have big prostration marks on their foreheads, but they would not have any iman in their hearts. Now, an arrow leaving a bow means it never coming back. So their iman is never going to come back. So now these people had to be uncovered. Their faces to be uncovered, that they are not Muslims. They are not leaders. They are not to be followed. Not to be followed. That is why we had Karbala. That is why we had Karbala, so that the faces became unveiled. The faces became unveiled. These are not the people of Islam. They cannot represent Islam. In fact, they are the enemies of Islam. So beware, be careful. It became so obvious. So now that is why we got that Surah Barat. Okay, you have to refrain away from them. That's why that surah starts. It gives a stance. Without Bismillah, okay, there is no rahmat for them. There is no rahmat for them who are the enemies of God. Allah said, He has barat with them. That is what is tabarra. We also say, tabarra. We say it. It is a cause of lot of fight and lot of dissension between the Muslims. And that is what, in the time of Mamun, whoever went against the Imams, they came into these categories. But now they were openly recognized in Karbala. In the time of Mamun Rashid, when, he was questioned about this, he said it is a very powerful constitution of Islam. Tabarra, unless you dispel the wrong, unless you make yourself immune to the wrongs, you can never become a strong body. Now we see that being the most populated, are we the strongest people in the world? Are we? Why? Because we do not, we mix up everybody. The good and the bad are all together. So the strength is totally dissolved. Or rather, I should say it is not there. Existence in here, it is totally dissolved. So to have a strong force, to have a strong energy, to have a strong, religion, you have to realize whom your enemy is. If you do not, recognize your enemy, then you can be attacked from anywhere. You can be attacked from anywhere. And it is not that Rasulullah did not stay with the different communities. He taught us to stay in a cosmopolitan way to survive, because Mecca was such a city. And the ayat did come for him, Lakum dinakum waliyadeen. For you is your religion and for me is my religion. You don't come and fight with me. You don't arm people against me. You don't, go behind my back and stab me. So these are all those things. And, Surah Barat says the prominency, Karbala is, lifting up the veil against all these enemies who are within ourselves. Then it is the placement of the Bismillah somewhere else. It is the placement of Bismillah. Now balance is there. Allah has got multiple of blessings. If you are not capable of taking it, He is going to put somewhere else. He is going to give it to somebody else. That is that rahmat which was taken away by the so-called Muslims. Now it is placed somewhere else. And that surah is called Suratul Naml. And that has got a lady in it for whom Bismillah starts. The letter Bismillah starts. And that lady, that queen, was a worshipper of the sun, was a worshipper of the sun. But she was given the Bismillah by the Prophet Suleiman. You know, when he wrote a letter to her, he did write Bismillah above. What was the reason? What was the reason that at one place where the mercy has stopped because of opposing the messengers and the imams, Allah has placed that rahmat somewhere else, and on the day of judgment, it is going to be given to other people who craved for Halal Bait. They belong to other religions, but they respected Imam Hussein. They belong to other religions, but they came for the Majlis. They belong to other religions, but they believed in Imam Ali as an Imam, and they loved him. How many people do we have around us like that? How many? How many? Just to take to the faith. So that is what is the rahmat. It was lifted from one place. Now it was lifted from on the day of Ashura from the so-called Muslims, and it went away somewhere else. And that is the shafa'at of Imam Hussein. That is the shafa'at of Imam Hussein, that it is for everybody. Whomever he wants or Bibi Sayyada wants, they will do shafa'at for. And you know, the thing is that the way it was recited, Surah Barat, the way it was recited, and the way somebody else was called back. You all know the history, na? So Surah Barat is just like the Barat we have in Ziyarat Ashura. And when this Barat was sent, Rasulullah gave it to somebody else to go and recite it in the Kaaba. And then he was called back because Allah sent the angel and he said, this can be recited only by the one, by you or the one who is from you. So naturally that person was called back and the verses of Barat were handed over to Maula Ali. And Maula Ali went and recited those verses inside the Kaaba. That immunity, Barat, what we call Tabarra. Tabarra, it's a last partner. It came towards the last, the Medinite life of Rasulullah. So he said, we have given everything. We have given you all the chances, all the opportunities. But still, if you do not want to listen, then you will be disassociated from Allah. You will be disassociated from the messenger. Now, why do you think, Ali as a face was supposed to give the Surah Barat to people? It was either you, Allah said, either you go and you recite the Barat, or either Ali goes and recites the Barat. Barat means disassociation. First and foremost, it is understood that you cannot get disassociated with Maula Ali. He is the one who is giving you the message of getting disassociated. First and foremost, you are not supposed to disassociate. Now, I want to tell you one small thing over here. In the time of Imam Jafar Sadiq al-Islam, there was a lot of, I told there was a lot of, misinterpretations of the Quran, because people just wanted to take people away under their, banners and become, big powerful parties. And that is how the religious groups got their different names. So there was a big guy, and he was very learned. He was a very big alim. He goes to meet Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. So when he goes to meet Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam, he used to have many people, crowds and crowds from all over the world used to come to him to answer the questions. Most of the ahadith and the the tafsir of the Quran and everything we got maximum from him. So all over the place people used to come and visit him. So when this learned man goes to, learned or unlearned, whatever you say, when he went to meet Imam Jafar Sadiq al-Islam, he saw in his courtyard a small boy, and he had a staff in his hand that was bigger than his height. He saw a staff in his hand which is bigger than his own height. So he said, He said, who are you? So he says, I am the son of the one who you have come to meet. And then he started doing his sajda and praying his namaz. He was a small child. And when he started doing his sajda, people were moving around him, front and back and everywhere. And that is what, the prayer. Some people have got this belief that if, somebody moves in front of you, said, okay, why? He said, how did you pray like that? How did you pray that? Like that? He said, because if you pray like that, if somebody comes between you and Allah. So he says, if something comes between me and Allah, what is the power of God that he lets it come? Is he more powerful? Or that somebody else who crosses my way? Okay, he said, so it said, you are the son of Jafar Sadiq. What is your name? So I said, my name is Musa Kazim. He said, oh, and why are you carrying this asa in your hand? So he said, it is much bigger than you. He said, I am carrying this asa because this asa belongs to my grandfather, Rasulallah. And he said, this asa I carry always because to take blessings from it. It blesses me. As soon as he heard that this is the asa of Rasulallah, he came and he wanted to touch it. This learned man. And immediately, Imam Musa Kazim al-Islam as a baby, who moved behind and he took the asa behind him. He said, you cannot touch it. When you condemn the child, when you condemn his child, then you do not have a right to touch the grandfather's staff. You are deprived of it. That is what is called Barat. And that is what is called Eid, which with everybody is deprived. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. So now if you see, all these things, what Maula Ali had to, have a face. There is a face to Surah Barat. There is a face to Surah Barat, right? Whatever I'm also praying, I have, you have a face. Whenever you listen, you'll say, oh, this is so and so. You'll say, this is and so and so. So I have a face to whatever I speak. You have a face to whatever you speak. So the Barat face, the Surah Barat face belongs to Maula Ali because he is the one who read Surah Barat. And why was he sent to read Surah Barat? When on the day of Ashura, when, Imam Hussain was clearing all the misunderstandings or the people, the misguidances of the people. And it's telling you, tell me one reason. He wore the robes of his grandfather, the shoes of his grandfather, the turban of his grandfather. He came on the ride of his grandfather so that they recognize him. That's an imam. He's saying, tell me the reason why you want to kill me. I'm giving you so many options. I'm going to forgive you everything. He said, I will also forgive you the blood of Akbar. Why are you killing me? Tell us. So that is what the answer they gave. That we are killing you because the enmity against your father Ali. So that's why he had to be the face of that Barat. That Barat will come. Tabarra is refraining, is dispelling of blessing, is disassociation, is with Ali and Hussein and their children. So they were made the criterion of the Tabarra. You cannot say Tabarra to this one and that one and everyone. No, it is absolutely wrong. It is like Salam is a blessing. It's a godly blessing. In the same way, Tabarra and Lan is a godly curse. It is incurred from Allah. So that's why I said, see, these two words which we used are the Barat and the Lan. When we use it, and then, in Ziyarat Ashura, it is said, فَلَانَ اللَّهُ ummatan assasat, asas zulme wal jawri. The ones who laid down the foundations. Who laid down, curse be upon them, who laid the foundations of killing Imam Hussain. And he said the killing Ahle Bayt. And lanallahu ummatan dafa'atkum an maratibukumul lati rattabakumullahu fiha. And learn on them, curse be upon them, who want to take you out of that status, put you down from that status which Allah has put you upon. Rattabakum. Your rutba is of imamat, and they do not want to give that respect. So see, who do not understand the imamat, and they consider him just as any other Muslim. Ziyarat Ashura says then they will be putting them down from that status. He has been blessed with that status. So curse be upon, lan of Allah, and it is not of our personal lan, lanullahi, curse of Allah be on. And the third is lanallahu ummatan qatalatkum wa lanallahu mumahadina lahum bitimkin. So and lan also those people who killed, who laid down the foundation, who wanted to take him away from his status, take him down from his status, the people who killed him, lan on them. And lan on the fourth one is those who followed them, those who took hidayat from them. So till day that continues. Whoever is all against this, against Husainiyat, against commemorating Muharram, he is following the one, who has done this, right? There are two parties only. And then comes the barat. This is baritu ilallahi. It is disassociation of Allah. Allah has barat. Surah Barat mein. This is the answer. As I told you, that when Allah asks in Surah Rahman, Fabi ayya alai rabbikuma tukazziban, the two people, why they are denying the namats of Allah. And in who are those two people? Then Maula Ali answers in Saname Quraysh, these two people who are the idols of Quraysh, these two daughters of theirs. So Maula makes that very clear. So see, that is everything is a part of the Quran. Whatever we learn in our religion, same way even Ziyarat is. Surah Barat is there. We have to be disassociated with some people. So who are they? They are the ones who laid the foundation. They are the ones who wanted to bring Imam Hussain down from that status. They are the one who killed him, and they were the ones who followed the killers. So these four are lan for them, lan of Allah, dispel of blessings of Allah from them. Then it comes the bari. Bari means bari. I am disassociated. With whom? Baritu. Baritu ilallahi wa ilaykum minhum, min ashyaihim wa atbaihim wa awliyaihim. From their Shias, any friend is a Shia. So when we call ourselves Shi'ane Ali, means the friends of Ali. Shia'ihim means their friends. Baritu, we want disassociation from their Shi'ahum, from their friends, ba'atba'ihim, and those who followed them. Those who followed them, ba'awliyaihim, or their guides, whoever guided them and whoever they were the masters. So this is what it is. When you read Surah Barat and you read the Ziyarat Ashura, you understand whom does Allah wants you to be disassociated with. And a good human, it again says that a good human, if it's a good human, then the blessings is raised up and placed where you are. If you are of that thought process, the thought process of Husainiyat. One salawat on Muhammad and and the worst, the confrontations, the worst confrontations, the toughest confrontations from these people, who had to do it? It was Bibi Zainab. They thought her to be a woman, and they thought her to be a lady, and they had seen the ladies of the house of the Prophet, and they had always seen them. They were covered, they appeared timid, they wouldn't move much into the outside public. They did their dars and they did their part of the religion, but they were mostly undercover. But when it comes out, it was the real feminine that comes out when Bibi Zainab makes her speeches and she faces these tyrants in the courts. That the way she has answered them, it is amazing. One of these days, I am going to do it with that. And after that, what happens to a mother when her child is lost? She is so heartbroken. She is so depressed. She just wants, I don't know what, I cannot explain it. But you all being, women, and we being mothers, and we being seeing all these things happening around us, we do understand. But to immediately stand up and protect the family, it was actually the ladies should have supported, and they should have protected her. But when it becomes the other way around, she had more strength. They also had lost their sons, their children, and everybody. And immediately, that when she gave the ijazat, and when she told On and Muhammad, her sons, that you have to go, you have to fight for your imam, and you have to fight very bravely, and you have to kill his biggest enemies. You have to kill his biggest enemies, and biggest enemies were Shemr, and there was Umar ibn Saad, who was sitting among tires and tires of protection in their big tents, all soldiers around him. And when these two children had gone to fight, they remembered the words of their mother. The words, mother makes a child strong or weak. Though, in their genes, they had the blood of Ali and Jafar, both their blood. They were very brave children. And being 9 and 10 years of age, they did an amazing, it was an amazing war, and, it was amazing battle. And people were wondering, they used to stand back to back with each other. It was, a crowd. It was a crowd, and actually when you go into the crowd, you fight into the crowd. You don't fight with your only your might. You fight with your intellect also. They used to be back to back with each other, that nobody attacks the one who is behind. And in this way, in a way that was, that togetherness that they displayed, in Arabia, you know uh, battles was something people admired each other for, and their tactics which they used in the battles. The tribes admired each other for that. Okay, oh, this tribe, they are so strong, and they are tactics of battles. And when they saw the swordsmanship of these children, they were amazed. They were amazed. And the way they had come into the battlefield, and the way they proceeded so fast into the heart of the army, that Umar Saad got very scared, because they were heading towards him. They were heading, the mother's words were echoing in their ears, and they were heading towards. And he left his tent and he ran away from behind. And two children, can you imagine? Because these were the children of Bibi Zainab, from whom we derive our strength. We derive our strength. We have seen her strength, and when we feel weak, we derive the strength from her. So how brave and strong were her children. They are always remembered together, because their battle was together. On Muhammad, their names cannot be separated. And actually, on means help. On means help, and Muhammad is the praised one. So it is said that they went, they conquered the Euphrates. And the army, there were 2,000 soldiers guarding the river itself. And there were none when they reached the river. There were none. If you read the books of, battles and all, that is a totally different, that is also subject of Shiaism and Karbala. But that is a totally different subject. Sometimes we speakers bring that, parts of it into it. But, when they reached, they looked at each other and they said, wish we had brought the mushk of Bibi Sakina, the water bag of Bibi Sakina, and we could have taken water for her, because she is very thirsty. You saw the loyalty in the blood. You saw the loyalty in the blood. From where does it come? It comes from the mother. It comes from the father. The father is Abdullah, the nephew of Ali, who paid handsomely to people to just keep their mouth shut and not say anything bad about Ali. Of course, it was all wrongly said. He's their father. He's still living in Medina, and these children, amazingly, when they did it, there was a sound of marhaba raised, echoing in the camp of Imam Hussein, and people started coming and congratulating Bibi Zainab. Oh my God, what have your children done? When the children come with victories, what do mothers do? What do mothers do? But there appear frown on her face, and she started praying to Allah. Allah, my children are very small. I have taught them well. They know the lines of the Sharia. But I wish they will not drink the water. My children are very small. Please make them die. Please make them die in thirst. Can you believe it? Can this be a prayer of a mother? Now, this is a last time. These are the little things. These are the little things which bring so much of Shariat in front of you. The Imam is thirsty. You cannot give water to your children. The Imam is hungry. You cannot feed your family. All these things they are more important to us than our own lives, because we have done fealty to them. Bayat. We believe in them as from Allah. And now, Bibi Zainab was so upset that, and she was praying and praying and praying and praying. And everybody's saying, oh, Zainab, aren't you happy? Aren't you happy? Aren't you happy? What battles your children have fought. And, suddenly she says, okay, she's just praying. And, suddenly, after some time, the calls of help are heard from Honor Muhammad. And when the calls of are heard, Imam Hussein alayhi salam and Janab Abbas, they ride their horses, their loveliest sister, like anything. She's in the place of mother for them, and they ride their horses inside the battlefield to get those bodies back, and they get those bodies back to the camp. And when they come to Bibi Zainab's camp, somebody is saying, Honor Muhammad have come. Honor Muhammad have come. People see that Bibi Zainab is sitting right in the center of the tent, not moving, not saying anything. And when Imam Hussein put the body of on one side and the body of Muhammad on the other side, what did she say? She said, don't tell me how they fought. Don't tell me whom they killed. Just answer one question. Are they thirsty, or they have quenched their thirst? And Imam Hussein says, no, my dear sister. They went from this world thirsty. And hearing this, Bibi Zainab puts her forehead on the ground and she thanks Allah. And she says, Ya Allah, तूने मुझे मेरी माँ के सामने शुरू कर दिया कि मेरे बच्चों ने उस फुरात से पानी नहीं पिया. अल्लाह लानतुल्लाहि अलैकुम. Allahumma rzuqna fid dunya ziyaratil Hussein wa fil akhirati shafaatil Hussein wa zidna muhabbatil Hussein wa hasharna ma'al Hussein. Allahumma aktubna min az-zawaril Hussein. Allahumma baqina min al-azail Hussein. Allahumma ij'alna zumrati min shiyatil Hussein. Allahumma hasharna tahta liwa'il Hussein. Allahumma adkhil jannah min al-babil Hussein. बेहक़ मोहम्मदिन वालेहि तय्यबीन ताहिरीन मासूम. मातम हुसैन.
Zayn